Two questions for you. I am generally supportive of the proposed legislation. I just want to clarify, my understanding is that if the state has strong safety standards and regulations in place, they would not be displaced by the federal system. From what I understand of the proposal, states will not be preempted from establishing more stringent safety standards. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir. We do not have preemption. The state would have to apply to us to show that their standard is safer, but we would grant that application if we found it to be so.
That's the opt-in, opt-out provision.
The opt-in and opt-out really pertains to whether the state oversight agency wants to perform the federal oversight or whether the state would continue to do it at federal expense.
I appreciate that, and I commend the approach there. So often we see the federal government trying to displace the states from more stringent standards in whatever areas, and I'm glad to see that it's not the case here. Secondly, one of the effects of the current economic downturn is that state and local revenue sources that fund transit projects have decreased, as we know. And local governments are currently facing revenue shortages and have to make difficult budget choices. How do you expect transit agencies to make progress on their safety and maintenance projects without further revenues, and specifically without a long-term authorization? Would you agree that transit agencies will lack the fiscal ability to make comprehensive transportation safety advances before we get a long-term reauthorization?
Well, sir, our view has been and will continue to be that the most critical safety needs need to be addressed first, no matter what the available funding envelope is. I've met with Mr. Walder, the new MTA general manager. He gets that and understands that. He's done this successfully in other systems. Part of what we want to do with this new regime is help certain transit agencies to gain the expertise to identify what those greatest safety vulnerabilities are. I think it's fair to say, especially on things like assets, we've got agencies all over the map. We have agencies who do very, very good management of their assets. We have other agencies that couldn't even tell you where all their assets are right now and everything in between. We sort of want to raise the level of all of them and make sure that their dollars are spent first on safety. But we also see safety as sort of a non-negotiable expense. And we also think our role can maybe help cities approach city councils, approach their state legislatures, approach their governor with serious concerns about their state of good repair.
Well, I would, of course, agree that safety is a non-negotiable expense and that it comes before anything else, and I don't think you'll find anybody who disagrees with that, at least rhetorically. But when agencies are faced with extreme stringencies and pressures on safety, on getting the trains running on time, on getting the buses out, and getting the people paid, they're going to look for savings in every area. And whatever their good intentions, too often we know that safety is going to suffer to some extent along with other things. And so I would say again that the ability to have more funds and to plan long-term will impact in the safety area as well, which is another reason for getting a full reauthorization.